Okay, now at the moment, I'm in here working on this front end. I've got the spindle in place, I've got both upper and lower ball joints in place, and I've also got my spring for Beltech and the upper pad for the top of the spring. Now, these, of course, are a little bit different than your standard ones. These spindles are the lowering spindles. I believe they're 3-inch. Don't quote me, but I think they're 3-inch spindles and 2-inch springs. They have to attach your caliper using this rear section mounting plate, which is the only reason for this is so that you can upgrade to a later brake, such as wheel wood, things like that, or Brembo. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to get these spindles right here cleaned up, go ahead and put my backing plate on for my dust cover, get all the bearings in so I can get these wheels back on this thing, so I can get this chassis over and get that LS2 drop down in this chassis. So that's what I'm working on right now. Go ahead and get this right here straightened out. Okay, now on the front end, the factory dust cover is something I'm going to be using. It did have some damage, but I straightened all that out with a hammer and dolly, cleaned it up with a sandblaster, and then put a little black paint on there. Now something with these spindles here to know is your original ABS, this bolt here has a nut on the back. So that right there is going to have to be removed, because those are the two bolts that are going to hold this to this spindle. You no longer use your outer two like you did from the factory. And line it up. Line my top one up first and put the factory bolt back into the position. Work them down. On your ABS line here, you have this little bracket. That bracket bolts up under your control arm to the top of where your ball joint is. Now, there's our wiring for ABS. This will also go up here and be bolted through the top. This is something I want to make a note of. This dust shield, the original bolt holes aren't going to line up anymore where it bolts up. So this right here, this will have to be cut if you're going to be using this style spindle. Now if you're using the drop spindle that's OEM style, you can use that. But with this style, that will have to be cut. So I actually had to cut this straight down in order for that caliper to sit flush and that bolt to come through without rubbing this. So if you're putting that on this style right here, make sure you cut that right there all the way down to clear that. Okay, now on my rotor, I've already packed my bearings. I've already put them inside the rotor. They're already greased up. So now, I'm just going to slide this into position. Slide it right back on that drop spindle. With that groove, and slide it right back where it needs to be. Got a little bit of rubbing right there on my dust cover. Just fix that right up. Just in one turn till it lines up with my Carter pin hole. And I have new Carter keys right here supplied that I'll be using to put right there to hold that nut in. Okay, now my new Carter pin here, just going to put it into position. Now that right there will never come off. And there you have it. Now your cap, just put it on there, go all the way around till it's fully seated. And that right there is done. Now you've got your rotor on. Okay, I have my caliper here, which I use just some high heat temp black paint to spray them down so that they don't look, too terrible. They look good on the truck. The brackets for the calipers already bolted and torqued down, and put anti-seize on those as well, so that right there has no trouble if you ever have to take that off. Okay, now that I fixed this little section here, this right here will slide right on there. And there we have it. The caliper is now on, the rotor is on, and all suspension is finished up. Now, just got to take that brake line, take them two bolts, put them to that upper control arm, and then plumb in all my brake lines and all my wiring. That's it, guys. That's going to be it for this part of getting the lowering suspension done for Belltech. on this OBS Chevrolet 88 to 98. Well guys, thank you for watching this part of the video and any of my other videos and playlists I have on the channel. I'd appreciate it if you hit that subscribe, like button, and hit the notification bell if you want to see more projects like this anytime I upload a video. Until next time, check out my other videos and playlists, and I'll check you out on the next video.